What up, everybody? How we doing today? It is December 18th, 2020. We're almost done the year. Next time we're going to be talking, it'll already be past Christmas. So I figured this will be our holiday Christmas stream, I guess. This will be our Christmas stream this time around. So we have a little bit of Christmas flavor going on here and there. Glad to see everybody again. It's been a busy week. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Got a lot of stuff to jump into. A lot of slides. This weekend is also the Shanghai Comic-Con, which had a whole bunch of cool images and stuff too that I will be covering today that I have not made a segment of. So I figured we'll do it right here, and we'll take it apart right here. At least most of it, not all of it, because some of it I actually kind of want to save for a special segment. But glad everyone came out. It's good to see everybody. And let's jump into some stuff that's been going on. So first of all, always start on a downer. We did the last week too. Kind of related to Transformers. Jeremy Bulloch. Bullish. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Boba Fett passed away just 2 days ago. December 17th, I believe. At the age of, what was it that they said here? 75 years old. He was battling Parkinson's for a while. And it's kind of related to Transformers because we had a Boba Fett Transformer in the Transformer crossover line. And I feel that it's important to talk about because Boba Fett is a really cool character. I like to feel in a lot of ways he was kind of one of the very first breakout characters, like that trope of a breakout character in science fiction. There's always breakout characters in comedy and all kinds of stuff, but really like Boba Fett in modern science fiction, he was really one of the first examples of that. Outside of like, man, I don't know. It's like him and Wolverine. It's like who really, was the first one to really break out like that from their original medium. But, it sucks that he's passed away. He was at a lot of cons that I went to, and I just never had a chance to swing by and say hi and meet him. But I mean, Boba Fett's cool, man. Can't deny that. And, not many characters are rocking it in The Mandalorian now. I don't want to talk too much about it. We just had the end of season, the season, so enough said about that. But I just want to touch on that quickly, even though it's not really Transformer related, but passed away, so it's a real shame. Another piece of big sci-fi history no longer with us. So press F for respect to Mr. Jeremy and all his contributions to that of the sci-fi world. Now then, let's jump into Transformer news. So we started this week with some big news from Hasbro, and as of this recording, the pre-orders have gone up on Hasbro Pulse. Hasbro is going to be reissuing the Combiner Wars Devastator. Now, obviously, a lot of people have been contacting me saying that it should have been the United Warriors one. Why didn't we get the United Warriors one? I'll be honest with you guys. It's because this is what Hasbro has. This is what's in Hasbro. This is what's being pressed in Hasbro's factories. This is what's available. I mean, if they did the United Warriors one, their logic would be maybe we have to make a new box. We have to make new instructions. We got to show something different. I don't know. They wanted to go with what was already made for the American market. Who knows? Maybe the United Warriors one has something that's different in terms of budget, in terms of safety measures. Who knows? But this is what they're going with. I still think it's great, primarily because, wow, pre-orders already sold out. Wow. Thank you, Michael Koo. That does not surprise me. Yo, Goobers in the house. So I was happy before I found out about the pre-order selling out. I was happy to hear about this because a lot of people did not get the opportunity to pick up this guy when he first came out. What's amazing is that even though 5 years later Hasbro kept the original MSRP for their website, so I was happy to say, hey, this is a great opportunity for people to pick it up who didn't get it before, especially considering if you had to buy it in the secondary market, he was like $200 to $300 plus shipping, and we know how big that box is. But I guess, judging by the news just now, damn. Oh well. That's kind of somber news then. That's double bad news. First the Boba Fett one, and then this. Well, hopefully Hasbro does a re-release again in the future. I don't know. Or maybe just they'll revisit Devastator at some point in the future. Maybe in another 4 years when that trademark is rolling over, we'll get something. But it is, unfortunately, what it is. Wow, sold out. Man, it is just a crazy world right now, isn't it? Next, we have some Walmart listings, some UPC AIN listings and stuff. We have a confirmation, bam, of 3 Kingdom figures that are going to be coming in a future wave at some point. We have a core class Soundwave, which we don't really know what it looks like, and as I put right here, this is all we could use in terms of art to get an indicator of what he might look like. That kind of looks like he could be rocking some kind of, oh god, I'm so bad with this, some kind of, mode. What up, Aaron? Aaron Archer in the house. So, I mean, would it be cool to get a cool little core class cassette Soundwave? That'd be really cool. It'd be really cool if you could get little core class cassette drones. I don't think they'll do that. That's almost a choking hazard at that point. But I mean, that'd be cool if we got a little cassette Soundwave that doesn't just turn into like a ATV vehicle or a tank or something that, Hasbro's been doing more recently. So that's really cool. And then the other 2, I mean, I'll get to the Rhinox in a moment because I have more to say about that. But Voyager, Tigatron, if they could do something that's in the budget of a, like what we got with the Masterpiece, but done in a Voyager scale, if they can make a budget Masterpiece, that'd be really cool. That would be really, 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 really cool to get a Tigatron like that, because his Masterpiece one, I mean, I have it, but that was expensive. That was very expensive, and he had a lot of problems, which made a lot of people not want to get it after hearing about it, such as the scraping of the crest with the transformation. I know me, I was just like, okay, he's staying in robot mode after that. Everyone got it before I did, and then when it showed up in the mail for me from Ami Ami, I was just like, I'm just going to leave you in robot mode permanently. As for Rhinox, here's the thing. Like, I really, really, really like that Generations one. Like, that one was, to me, was a masterpiece. That Thrilling 30, I think it came out, I want to say 2016, 2015, that came out. No, even earlier than that. That had to be like 2014. Anyways, I really liked that Rhinox a lot. And even Takara, when they were doing their like Masterpiece photo shoots, when they'll have like, Masterpiece Dinobot, Masterpiece Cheetor, Masterpiece Optimus Primal, they'll put that Rhinox in there to be their stand-in, But we'll see. We got a super chat question from Stephen Joyce. He wants to know, do you think we will get Mercenaries Drift and DevCon? Probably not in the plans right now. We're going into a a Beast Wars era, so they're probably going to put more focus on that. Maybe something from Selects, but who knows. But either way, really like that Rhinox. Really matches the character model, so I'm really curious in the way the modern budget is today. Mind you, it's a Voyager, so there's more budget there. I'm really curious how they're going to do this Kingdom Rhinox. Really curious. It's going to be very interesting to see how that gets over the hump, so to speak, with the current, engineering and how stuff is done today, especially with paint apps and stuff like that. Dinobot impresses me. Optimus Primal impresses me. So maybe also a Voyager like Rhinox will also impress. We'll definitely see when that time comes. What's up, Larry? So that being, that's it. And Tigatron again. Hey, if we get a mini Masterpiece, that would be awesome. Next, we have the Cyberverse talk. So just last week, we were talking about how in the back of some storage warehouses, people were cracking open cases of Cyberverse Wave 2 Deluxe. We saw them in package of a Starscream, a Soundwave, and a Prowl. The Starscream images came that same week. We got to see how Starscream looked. It was pretty awesome. It's like, okay, there is some kind of weird stuff with his colors and everything, and maybe it's just something that really needs to be seen in person, because we have, the box shows one kind of color scheme. The stock images, like the one shown here, show a different color scheme. What is the in-hand colors of this product? We'll probably find out sooner more than later, because those stock photos came from a stock room, so sooner or later someone's going to get them in their hands, and it'll be awesome. These two, I will say, Soundwave looks amazing. I really hope I'm not overhyping myself, because he has an opening chest, he has a transforming laser beak, he has a blast effect weapon, which I put over here to show too. The blast effect weapon has a little sound thing on it also, so that's an extra little play pattern. When he's in vehicle mode, that chest that opens to become the cassette holder is also like a car hood that opens up to make an engine, which is kind of cool. Very nice looking, great articulation. I can't complain. He has his little shoulder cannon. He looks amazing. I just hope the plastic quality is good. I mean, best example of Kingdom Deluxe stuff is the plastic quality on RC is like something out of like 2006. It's so good, the plastic quality. The lower end of the spectrum, something like my boy here. You know, a little bit of flimsiness, unfortunately, and kind of thin. So I'm really hoping Soundwave falls into that class of really high quality plastic, and he'll be cool. I'm excited about him. He's definitely going to be a day one pickup. Prowl, man, Prowl's got an interesting history. Already, like, you know, his paint scheme is not exactly show accurate. The alt mode is, though. Let's put it this way. We've picked up the Siege versions. We've picked up the Earthrise versions of the Datsuns. I feel like we're just kind of buying the same toy again, but with just little changes here and there. I mean, the only thing to really celebrate is now at least he has an alt mode that matches how he looks in the show, because I just want to show you guys here. Like, I made a little chart if you saw on Twitter. But, like, these are all Cyberverse Prowl alt modes. And every single one of them is a different kind of car. Like, this one here is like a 1986 FC3S RX-7 non-Savannah hood type with a semi-hatch, and I don't know what's going on here. And then like the Ultra Class one, which is probably one of the worst ones to buy, most overpriced. We got like a fin going on, and then it's more bulbous in the front. It's kind of like a GTR that GTRs actually didn't have fins, but they actually had wings. But you know, like a GTR mixed with a wing in the back from like Skyline Nissan. And then you got this guy over here on the side, which is like they're trying to do Barricade, so it's kind of the Mustang, you know, F30 Mustang kind of thing going on. And then, of course, the tiny turbo changer. Let's not even talk about that mess. And then you got the Battle Class, which also has like no paint too, and paint in weird areas, and that doesn't know. So he was all over the place. Like, they couldn't decide on an alt mode. They really couldn't. And then all the way on I guess for you guys, for the right, is the character model, like how it looks in the show. So at least the deluxe one matches the character model. After literally 5 other toys, he finally has something that looks like the character model. Just the blue is really electric blue on him. So that's the only gripe I have. But otherwise, hey, they finally nailed it. My only thing that I'm just not excited about it, because I feel like we've messed with this same kind of transformation, mold, and design of the same character already 3 times now, 5 times now, if you count all the repaints and the brothers of all the other Datsuns. You know, so it's not an exciting toy. It's more just, hey, if you have a Cyberverse collection, you want to have the best version of that character, here it is right now. And it's funny because look at all these toys he's had, and he wasn't exactly a top tier character. He was really a background character in a lot of ways. So, just wanted to just kind of cover that, because it was something that was really weird that I found. Also, we learned a piece of history today in Transformers. The Transformers Vault website bought a Transformers Bible for Beast Wars, and they found in that Bible a whole bunch of information that was used for marketing, and they would show it to licensing companies like, hey, here's our characters, here's control art, you know, if you want to do like t-shirts or this and that, you know, here's the history. It was an interesting book, but the most interesting thing that was found in that book was we learned the interesting name history of Inferno. So apparently the Fire Ant Inferno was not always called the Fire Ant Inferno. He was actually supposed to be called Scavenger. Now here, I'll pull up in full screen here. He was supposed to be called Scavenger. That's what was going on here. He was supposed to be called Scavenger. And the question is, well, why did he go from Scavenger to Inferno? I think that probably Hasbro was just going like, look, we're going to use Scavenger with one character, we're going to use Inferno with another, and maybe, we could get away with using both, and then we end up with Scavenger, the Transmetal Fire Ant, which is clearly the same character, and then you get into Beast Wars Metals, the Japanese version, which says they're the same character. Gets a little complicated, but long story short, I think it was just a trademark thing, and you even see with these mock-ups here, they put a sticker over the Scavenger part, and they put Inferno, so interesting piece of history there to learn that character originally was going to go with Scavenger. And it's because that trademark of Scavenger, when you really think about it, you have the G2 Constructicons, and that was it. That was it for G2 Scavenger prior to that point. Like you go 1985 G1 toy, which they weren't really paying attention to trademarks back then, and then nothing for Scavenger until G2, which they probably re-trademarked. And in the case of Inferno, you had 1985, also oddly enough the same year, 1985 Fire Truck. In between that, there was a Action Master, and then, of course, you had Cops, Fighting Crime in a Future Time, another Hasbro brand at the time. They also had an Inferno character. Surprise, surprise, he was a fire police chief. So they kind of kept the trademark there. G2 character, Inferno. Nothing also, boom, couple years later, Beast Wars Inferno. That's kind of how that all rolled down. It was interesting to me just because to know that a character had a different name at one point. That's always fun to see the evolution of that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's that. Another thing also, we literally just celebrated a couple days ago. This is crazy when you think about it. The 9th anniversary of Rescue Bots. Rescue Bots is 9 years old. Extremely successful brand for Hasbro. Has more episodes than any Transformer series ever made, which is crazy when you think about it. 104 episodes of Rescue Bots, 4 full seasons of 26 episodes each. I posted this here because Rescue Bots also was probably my most successful videos. 2 million views talking about Rescue Bots. Goddamn. Rescue Bots was really popular back in the day. This was 9 years ago when I did that review. Man, 2.7 million views, almost 3 million views to talk about a Optimus Prime toy that barely transforms. Man, has the times have changed, so to speak. But yeah, 9 years, look, it served its purpose. Hasbro did their My First Transformer line back in the 80s. It didn't really find the market. When they did the Go 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 Bots in the early 2000s, again, partially a trademark thing, partially trying to tackle the preschool market. It didn't really find its place. It lasted for a few waves. I have a few of them. I have Haulerbot and Beastbot and Speedbot in them. Some big toys, some small toys. They were interesting. They had little dog companions and human companions and sentient gas tanks and all kinds of weird stuff made for VHS episodes and weird kind of storytelling. But it's nuts because that didn't really find the market. But Rescue Bots, maybe it's just timing. Maybe it was parents who, during that movie hype in 2009, 2010, were going out and buying Rescue Bot toys because that's what they grew up with. I think it was all just perfect planning, if anything else. But, yeah. Man, 9 years. 9 years of Rescue Bots already. And imagine, they would then go on to then have, Rescue Bots Academy, which would go on for another 104 episodes. So 208 episodes of this franchise, of this continuity. Well, it's technically in the Prime continuity, but still, isn't that crazy? Isn't that absolutely crazy? Let's go into the next one. So we have a new line that is coming out of nowhere that Hasbro literally didn't even drop on us. It was found through all kinds of listings and stuff, and In-Demand Toys dropped it on us. Last week we talked about Buzzworthy Bumblebee, a core class figure that had, it's got Kingdom art, but Kingdom back art, but evergreen front art, but movie font. What is going on here? And we didn't know, but apparently it's an entire line dedicated to celebrating Bumblebee because you haven't had enough Bumblebee in your life. So, I don't know where these really, I was breaking these down one at a time, And like, I'll do it again here. So the first one you have here is you have Buzzworthy Bumblebee. And this is the one that comes with Charlie. Now, this is based off of the Studio Series 15 Bumblebee that came with all the car parts where you could customize it and put the stickers and everything. And this Buzzworthy Bumblebee version is the stripped down version of it. You get the basic figure without the racing stripes, with all the stuff, and you get the Charlie figure. And that's it. So, I mean, hey, if you wanted to get that Charlie figure for your collection, but the Studio Series 15 version was either, I think it was 2 per case originally was the assortment. It was 2 per case for an assortment. They were Toys R Us, and I want to say Target had it too at the time. This, this really shows how far back this is. Was a little pricey. So if you kind of skipped out on this and you really just wanted the Charlie figure, well, now you got something that hopefully, and I can't confirm this, but hopefully is going to be a MSRP of the original Deluxe Studio Series price point. I hope so. It looks like that's a Studio Series Deluxe box. I'm hoping they keep that. Could be wrong there. Don't quote me on it, but we shall see. Again, very weird because this one here, this figure's only about 2 years old and already they're kind of retreading it. And speaking of barely 2 years old figures, the next one. Now, granted, let me get in the shot here. Granted, what's going on here at least is a little bit of a repaint. So you get your World War II Bumblebee. The one on the bottom right there is the original Studio Series, man, that's a tongue twister, Studio Series 26 Bumblebee. Basic gray, like green. This one here has a little bit of mud on the painting of it. This is the Buzzworthy Bumblebee release. It has a little bit of mud on the alt mode. Robot mode looks exactly the same. I compared the two. Doesn't look like there's much of a difference. So, hey, if you somehow didn't see this still in stores, some of them are still... Actually, this one's still in stores in some situations. So if somehow you missed it, you get it again with mud, I guess. I hope the MSRP isn't increased on this one. Let's hope not. Here's one that makes no sense. I own the Shatter. I compared it with this one, face to face. I don't see a difference. So this one's pretty much a 1-for-1 reissue of the original Shatter from Studio Series, the one that turns into the vehicle as opposed to the jet. I still see these in Walmart. And now they're reissuing it again? Okay, maybe for the few people that didn't get Shatter and really want to pick her up, I guess. It is what it is. That one's a big passer for me because it just doesn't make sense. Why would they? I don't know. And that's not an old toy. And then here's an even more confusing one. This one is layers of confusion with me. So this one here is obviously a retool of the Studio Series 49 release, Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee. Okay. Obviously, if you look at the lip in the front here and everything, it's a little bit different than that Studio Series 49 version. So there's a little changes here and there. Here's the thing. This guy is actually coming out as an individual Studio Series figure with that Sam figure very soon. So to do this in this kind of packaging when all this stuff is going to be available soon as a Studio Series, I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I don't understand the distribution of this stuff. Maybe this is a web exclusive thing. Maybe this is an Amazon exclusive thing. In Demand Toys has these in their store. I don't know what's going on. This one confuses the heck out of me. Not to mention, the only thing that's really funny about that is that Sam figure, and I talked about it on my Twitter. Like, I just love how the Sam figure is just pretty much a retool of the one that came with the Masterpiece, the Masterpiece Jazz. So it's like, hey, this one doesn't have the Allspark in his hand. It pretty much looks like the same thing. I'm pretty sure they're two different toolings, but they're so similar that it's almost, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I really don't know what's going on there. But very weird. Very weird. This is way, again, more Bumblebee stuff. A whole line of Bumblebee. And it's weird because the Bumblebee movie toy line, don't get me wrong, there was some good, interesting stuff in there. But as a whole, it didn't sell well. Hasbro did their quarter reviews and said that, the collector items did well, the non-collector items did not do well. When they say non-collector items, they're referring to Cyberverse and they're referring to the Bumblebee movie line, and maybe BotBots fell into that too. I don't know if maybe that could be considered collectible. But the Bumblebee movie line was a clearance mess. So I don't know why they're doing this. I mean, I think we get enough Bumblebee already. I think we get enough of that character. I mean, Studio Series is going to keep us busy. And speaking of more Bumblebee, last Friday, yesterday Friday, there was 2 Bumblebee exclusive toys that debuted at Target. So we talked about last week this Funko Pop. Apparently, I was breaking news without even knowing it. This was supposed to be a Funko Pop that was supposed to debut yesterday. It broke street dates, fell into the hands of Target workers. Those Target workers got paid a little extra coin to give it to Funko collectors, and that's how I ended up seeing it, because the Funko collectors were sharing it online and scalping it on eBay. So, 2006 Classics Bumblebee turned into Funko. Now we got the official art all the way there on the right. So, yeah, that's out. Already probably sold out and scalped to death from everyone. That was the first Bumblebee Target exclusive yesterday. There was a second one. Super 7 also put out their Target exclusive Gold Armor Bumblebee. Now, Super 7 up to this point has done Target exclusives. They did Fallen Commander Optimus Prime, a Dead Optimus Prime repaint, and Chrome Commander Megatron, which was Megatron but done more in toy-accurate colors with a bit of a chrome kind of finish. And now there's this one here. So it's a Gold Armor Bumblebee. I mean, if you had to, like, it's not really Goldbug. It's kind of, if you want to, like, pick apart where that could be a throwback from, it could be technically the Masterpiece, where they did a gold repaint of Masterpiece Bumblebee. That's one way you could look at it. It could be a Golden Lagoon thing, but then that would have been all the limbs. I don't know. It's bizarre. It's bizarre, to say the least. But that's what it is, more or less. So you have that. And then we go into the Shanghai Comic-Con. So Shanghai Comic-Con, I'm just going to open everything up here because we got a ton of stuff for Shanghai Comic-Con. Shanghai Comic-Con is this weekend. A lot of stuff going on in Shanghai Comic-Con. And I don't know how they pull off these conventions in the middle of all the craziness going on in the world, but they somehow do it. How they do it, I will never understand. But they're pretty much running shows, and people are pretty much doing them. So we have a bunch of third-party items to discuss. Oddly enough, if Aaron Archer's still here, they're mostly Armada related. Now, I don't really talk much about third-party on the podcast, but these are things that are out there. Yeah, I do need a drink badly, eh? I think I'll take a drink break. Thank you, Michael, for the suggestion. But yeah, so it was a lot of anime girls and Transformers. But what they were showing off was a lot of their Transformer stuff. Speaking of almost an anime girl, it's the remold of the anime girl. We have Fans Hobby, their MB-12A. So this is a retool, heavy extensive retool of their Athena, aka Minerva, turned into Nightbeat. Looks pretty cool. I don't know. I'm not feeling the head too much a little bit. Mostly because I guess I kind of want him to look like how he did in the Marvel comics, and he's still not there yet. I kind of want something that really matches how it looked in the Marvel comics. And I understand the Marvel comics design was a combination of a whole bunch of design mistakes, mixing up different heads for different Headmaster Juniors, and ended up with the final product with the Nightbeat that we have in the Matrix Quest comics of the late Marvel line. But I mean, still looks cool. I love Nightbeat as a character. He's one of my favorite characters from that Marvel run. Love him a lot. He looks really cool. And hey, gives us another Nightbeat toy. Ain't going to argue with that. And then, jumped a little ahead there. But let's just give you this one. So next up, we have Naval Commander. So this is the Armada Optimus Prime third-party masterpiece scale Micron Comboy. Monster Comboy. And we've seen a lot of images of this. We saw prototypes. We saw all kinds of different things. Super articulated, really nice looking. Functions with both male and female minicons. Male minicons have the little port. Female minicons have the port that goes in. So it works also with your Micromasters from the current Siege and Earthrise stuff. Looks really cool. That's pretty much the alt mode and the, I guess we'll call it the smaller robot mode, the mini prime mode, Bendy Prime. And then, of course, he comes with, and this is where I really dig it, comes with a spark plug, or as he was called in Japan, Prime. Isn't that confusing? Comes with the Matrix of Leadership, so he could reenact the scene from the show where he's holding the Matrix. Looks really cool. I really dig that a lot to get Sparkplug there. And then, of course, the Super Mode. Super Mode looks incredible. The only images they didn't provide was the base mode, and we've seen images of the prototype of the base mode, and it looks pretty stellar. So this is really cool. Looks really nice. Even has like a super mode, like a alpha, I guess we call it an alpha strike mode going on over here, you know. And then they show it to scale with their Ginrai, with their Power Master Optimus Prime. So pretty awesome. Dig it a lot. Looks really good. Probably not going to pick it up, but I mean, I appreciate what they're trying to do here. Aaron Archer says they should send me some toys for a deeper review. Nice to see my old friends. Yeah, Aaron had a lot to do with this one. Well, the original one. So, pretty awesome, though. Pretty awesome. And speaking of one that you're proud of, Aaron, here's another one that you worked on. Probably the better one of the two, in my opinion. This is their prototype that they're showing off of, and they don't have a third-party name yet for it, but this is the Armada Optimus Prime, their MB-17. And from what you could see, very articulated, looks really cool. Probably sacrifices a lot of those mini-con gimmicks that he had, which I loved about it personally, which he kind of made him like a mini base at a time when there wasn't bases for Transformers. We were so far away from having little headquarters for our figures, but Armada Megatron kind of doubled as a base for your mini-cons because of all the little platforms and little traps that he had in his alt mode. But looks really good. Looks really, really good. I'm very curious how this guy's going to look painted up. Are they going to give him more like the eyeshadow or something that the animation model had? Or are they going to go for something that's more accurate to the toy model? I'm really curious because I have the both versions. I have the Japanese version, the American version of the original Armada and Micron Megatron, and there's a lot of paint deco differences between the two, so I'm very curious what they're going to go with that one. It's very fascinating, that. But still, cool stuff. Last but not least, also we're going to show some comparisons. So look how big he is compared to the smaller Optimus, and then next to the Super Mode, which works well because when you look at the first episode of Armada and you see the small Optimus, like I guess he's in like a test of strength grab wrestling style against Megatron, you see that Optimus is considerably smaller than him in that mode. And then of course we have here the Iron Factory stuff right over there. That's a whole other loaded topic that I'm going to cover in the future. There's so much going on there. Iron Factory dropped about, I want to say 17 different molds at this show. A whole line of samurai style. And again, this is the stuff that third party should be doing, the unique stuff. An entire line of samurai style Transformers based off of Generation 1 designs. Really cool. And then, of course, more of the Iron Factory staples of small pocket-sized Transformers based on that. Aaron Archer says here, they clearly wanted to improve poses on Megs. Yep, looks great. Looks great. Again, and it's not fair to compare it, honestly, Aaron. I mean, you know, what you guys were doing back in 2001 was a completely different goal than what was going on. Not to mention being laden with the gimmicks and stuff. Articulation wasn't exactly a goal with the Armada toy line and the Micron Legend toy line. It was obviously something that was more to be toyetic and a play pattern and gimmicks and flip out stuff and collect the mini cons. You fast forward, as crazy as this sounds, you fast forward, imagine, it's going to be 20 years next year. You fast forward 20 years, and it's kind of fair to have a little bit of a update in terms of articulation for adult collector audience and a higher price point audience. We don't know the prices yet on these, but they're going to be a little pricey. But yeah, there was that. So we're gonna cover the other stuff in the future. I feel that there's so much to cover with the Iron Factory stuff, and also we're gonna have more images tonight from the convention, and then tomorrow is gonna be other stuff too. So it's gonna be pretty bananas. If there is an issue with my Armada Megatron, it is his lack of knees and waist. Well, yeah, he did have a lack of waist, eh? It's true. But, I mean, again, I'm not going to pick on a 19-year-old toy. Josh Perez is here too. Yeah, and I still think it's a fantastic figure. I love it because it came out at a time where we didn't have playsets. We just didn't have playsets. We would not have a legitimate playset until, like, no joke, like maybe Transformers Prime, if you want to count the vehicles and that exosuit armor Optimus that turned into a playset. We literally didn't have playsets for years. So that was the closest thing to a playset, and having those mini-cons interact with it, it created that toyetic experience, and I dig that a lot. I really do. Imagine, next year, 20 years old. So, next thing to cover. Let's talk about the fan vote that's going to be happening for the Transformer Slag podcast. If you have not seen the previous segment after we're done here today, go check it out. We're going to be doing our annual fan vote. Me and Jaws D, we get together. We talk about our favorite Transformers, our top 5 for the whole year of what has come out. Obviously, I think we're going to have to do something that's more of a Zoom thing. I don't know how I'm going to talk with them later this week. We're going to try to figure something out. I would love it if we were just together doing it like we always do here, talking face to face. I hate, having Zoom chats because there's always, you don't have body language, you don't have, the delay, so it sounds like you're talking over each other. But we'll figure out something. We're going to do that at the end of the year. But for you guys, go watch the segment. I list out the rules, what's going on, how we're going to do it. Pick your one favorite character figure that came out this year in 2020, and write it in the comments below, and we're going to tabulate everything, and we're going to pick out the guy who got the most is the winner. And last year there were some really interesting ones that won, so I'm really curious to see, is it going to be something that's expected? I kind of have a feeling something that might probably win, or is it going to be something that I didn't expect, or maybe something that'll get second or third place in the numbers. It'll be very interesting to see how that goes about. But yeah, so definitely when you're done this segment, check it out. It's the previous segment. Go do your vote and that. And once again, we have a moment. Let's talk about our sponsor, since we're here also. Symbiote Studios. They provide me my nice, beautiful shirts, my pins, and of course, their beautiful plush series with their minky skin and cool pins and stuff. So Symbiote Studios, they, once again, have a cool promo code that I'm doing. So if you go to symbiotestudios.com and go to their shop for Transformers, I think I have it also in the description below, you could get $10 off your order if you use the promo code ProtoMass. It's Protoman and Xmas put together. So ProtoMass. And you can get a deal on their plush series, their pin series, their t-shirt series. I dig their pins so much. They're super high quality. And also, outside of their Transformer stuff, they recently started doing their G.I. Joe stuff. So we have a beautiful Snake Eyes with the adorable Timber. So that's really cool. That one's actually outside of their normal price point because you get two plush there. And they just rolled out their cool Cobra Commander with his battle mask. But I love it. Looks really good. Looks really good stuff. I have a bunch of their stuff, so definitely check that out. symbiotestudios.com. Use the promo code ProtoMass and get $10 off your first order. And they got other cool stuff there too, so check that out. So that's it for more or less the news this week. As for stuff that I bought this week, I actually didn't really buy that much. I did a lot of just pretty much picking here and there, and not much. But the one thing that I did find was I wanted to buy a second one of these for the longest time. This is the Earthrise Grease Pit. It was originally a Hasbro Generation Selects exclusive and everything like that, and essentially what I wanted to do is I wanted to get a second one because I love this toy so much. This is easily one of my favorite Earthrise toy. I wanted to have one in alt mode and robot mode. Well, the alt mode being the city mode and robot mode, because I just can't have both. And you know, these parts formers, they take a little while to get them how you want them. So I figured I want to buy a second one. These guys are available at Toys R Us in Canada. I saw it. I think it's a 15% off deal. I was like, you know what? These guys are going to be difficult later to get because they're pretty much mail way when you really think about it. They're from the website only. So Canada, we have that advantage at least with some of these. But I had to get a second one, so I picked up a second one. Love this guy. If you don't have a modulator base, if you don't have one, I would suggest him, failing getting him because it's online and stuff, get the Ironworks version. Easily the best of the bunch. Love him. So much cool stuff. So much playability. I just love him because he has the extra accessories. He has the little sign and everything. I just think they're great. I really do. I dig this stuff. We got a super chat from Downright Superb. Thank you, Downright. You are always awesome. Downright wants to know, did you see my G2 Megs Canon modding vid? Yeah, I saw it. So what he's referring to actually is kind of related. So if you picked up the... I can't reach it. But if you picked up the G2 Megs of the Generation Selects line, which also, oddly enough, if you're Canadian, is also available at toysrus.ca. So if you're Canadian, you could go to toysrus.ca and pick up that G2 Megs. Or some of them have been stores depending on your location. You could actually mod it to make the classic railgun cannon. And Downright Superb, I'm pretty sure you probably posted it on your Twitter. So you could post your Twitter there, I guess. Downright Superb showed a video on how to do the editing of that. So pretty awesome stuff. Again, I love that too. A lot, like I'm almost more interested in more of the Generation Select stuff just because it does that weird stuff that I just don't have. Like, as much as it's sad to say, how could I be excited about a Datsun Brother Earthrise toy when I got the Masterpieces or I got my fix multiple times over through Classic? Granted, yes, new people to the fandom, that's cool. But just for me, you know, like what's going to make me excited. You're going to be excited with some of, you know, stuff that's been retread over and over. But for someone like me, this is the stuff that excites me. Just because it's so different. It really is. And I love that you could customize. This guy has he's technically a quad changer because of his instructions even. Because, let me just pull it out here. Pull it out, giggity. Let me pull it out. Yeah, like he has like all these different suggestions. You could have like this crane kind of design, or you could have this like racetrack kind of like, I guess, San Francisco hills kind of design. And then of course you have the traditional robot mode, and then you have the normal gas station G1 inspired one. So technically a quad changer. I love these guys. Love this line. I know that they're not being continued. We're going to have fossilizers instead of these guys to be kind of our mix and match kind of thing. But I really hope in the future we see more of them. I really do. I hope that they sold well. I really do. I mean, I'm the same guy that loved these dudes, and they didn't sell well. So maybe I just have terrible taste. There's what I want, and then there's what sells well. So I always have recognized that. You know, you're talking to a guy who loves hot rods. So I know what does well and what doesn't do well. But that's it. Michael Koo, one of our members with his cool little jazz icon. TFRED's more QC issues with scuffs, paint, and lack of paint. Man, that line I'm just hot and cold about. Again, I messed with my buddy's Soundwave. It's good. The Soundwave is good. But I look at the Optimus and the Megatron, and I'm just like, again, it's not for me. I get where it belongs, but I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you that this line is not going to go past like 5 waves. I think that it's going to. I think wave 1 is going to have its bad distribution. It's going to probably be shelf warming. And then wave 2 is probably going to get less numbers. It's the Cheetor and the RC. and then wave 3 and 4, and it's going to peter out. That's just my prediction. I don't see it, man. I think that Hasbro is trying to strike while it's hot with their 6-inch stuff, happening with their Black Series that gets scalped like crazy, with their Legends, Marvel stuff that gets scalped like crazy. I think they're kind of hoping to get that kind of same energy and retail vibe from the RED series, but I don't see that happening. Every time I go back to my Walmarts, Legends peg, empty. Maybe 1 or 2 shelf warmers, like a Dazzler or something, you know? Or I think the Daredevil is also kicking around a little bit. When you look at the Star Wars Black Series, if it's the newer trilogy stuff, that's the stuff that's usually kind of shelf warming. But when you look at the RED stuff, I could get anything from those first 3. They're plentiful, and no one's buying them. So Wave 1 stuff usually is not difficult to pick up. So I'm very curious to see what happens with this in the long run, pretty much. Because it's not something that I would imagine lasting very long. Transformer fans, we have this thing where when it doesn't transform, we right away lose 50% of our interest. We really do. Look at companies that have done very nice statues or PVC figures. They last for a bit and then they kind of peter out because fans get their fix elsewhere. But yeah. So what's happening with you people? We've gone over an hour now, rambling about stuff. Not much else happening in the world of Transformers though right now. We're probably going to have a lot of product that's going to be revealed probably this week. A lot of rumors of stuff that's going to be revealed through Hasbro Fan First Friday kind of stuff. So we'll see how this week goes down. Probably going to learn more about the stuff we just discussed that were leaked online and everything. Yeah, Michael, last week. So Michael Koo mentions here, by the way, at Hasbro, at Walmart, reissue G1 Blasters now $15. Last week I picked up G1 Blaster for $19 Canadian, which is pretty much about $15 American. That's another line that's having problems that are always hitting clearance. That G1 line, I think its days are numbered. I really do. I really, really do. I don't know if they're going to continue doing that G1 reissue line. It's something where I feel in order to maintain the quality of the original vintage product, it just made it too expensive for the market, and it just kept hitting clearance, and that's not something that Walmart wants to have. Wave 1 of Minibots, clearance. Starscream, clearance. Hot Rod, clearance. Devastator, the only one that didn't hit clearance, probably because he was 2 per case and people scalped it to death, and usually that 2 that you saw at stores were the only 2 that were there. Astro Train, mega clearance. Who else am I forgetting? Oh man, now Blaster is in clearance. It's nuts. It's nuts. It just was not successful at all. And it had a weird distribution model. Some people are like, I never saw the reissue stuff. Some people are like, I only see the reissue stuff, and it just goes on mad clearance. So we'll see what happens with that. But I firmly believe, I think that probably Blaster is going to be the last of it. They did a fan vote. Blaster was the one that was picked. They had a choice between Skywarp and Blaster. Blaster got voted in. No one bought him. So it's unfortunate. And that's my first Transformer toy too. I mean, I picked it up for $19 just because it was my first Transformer toy. I figured, why not? Why not? At $19, what was the original MSRP on it? I think it was $39.99 Canadian, which comes to about $34 American. But still, man, you could get, no joke, at a TFCon or BotCon, a complete G1 Blaster 1985 for $30 back then. So it's to do a reissue. Yeah, okay, you don't get the fancy box and the instructions, but to do a reissue and to have that plus tax, it's kind of short-sighted a little bit. Oh, and the Optimus, even that Optimus without the trailer, that went on clearance too. Remember Larry in the stream? He picked one up for me when it was on clearance, because they weren't selling. They weren't selling. And every time they weren't selling, they were getting a little more damaged, sitting on shelves, because people would see them and they would pick them up and they'd go to check on the checkout price. It wasn't the price they wanted. They'd throw it back on the shelves. Just was not a good thing. Really was not a good idea. I think that the reissue line is a product that just can't exist today outside of a small secondary market that could be, if they did a reissue line, it was Hasbro Pulse exclusive and it was limited numbers, it would find its market. It would have FOMO, people would have fear of missing out, and it would sell. But to send millions of them to multiple Walmarts and all the millions of Walmarts just around the United States alone, let alone Canada, I don't think it was a wise idea. And I think that if they are going to do more G1 reissues, I think that that's how it's going to be in the future. Kind of in the same way that when we got the Dino cassettes, they did that tri-pack with the Rumble, and that was like an Amazon exclusive. I want to say it was an Amazon exclusive. I could be wrong. But, and that was popular. It created FOMO. Oh my God, those rare Dinobots. And it's an online thing, so it's not something that's going to hit clearance as easily. Or, get bought and scalped to resell when it's online. So that kind of had more of a FOMO thing going on. But, I mean, that line, man. And it sucks because, it does have a place. It does. But it's difficult to pull it off because of how much it costs to manufacture it and the exclusivity nature with Walmart. It is what it is. It is what it is. Jed wants to know, why aren't you working with Hasbro's marketing team? Because I'm not a yes man. They need yes men. They need guys that say yes, yes, of course. What a great idea. I would have thought it. Yeah, let's make an entire wave of Bumblebees. That won't backfire at all. We have no market data from any point in history where too many Bumblebees was a problem. No market data at all. Like 2009 and 10 never happened. The sea of bees, the hive, it never happened. Oh wait, we fired all those people and hired new staff that are short-sighted and don't remember that. Anyways, hey Protoman, since Inferno is coming out in Kingdom, do you think there will be an Artfire repaint? Probably. I'm pretty sure. Look, they don't waste a mold. They don't waste a mold at all. They're probably going to, at some point or another, look, they did Artfire with the original one, so it doesn't surprise me. The only thing I'm surprised in, we never got an Artfire reissue, like the original G1 Artfire, but I'm pretty sure we'll get that. I'm pretty sure. We never got a Masterpiece one, too, actually, now that I think about it. But, that's affordable. Aaron Archer, Daniel, why do you have a negative lean point of view on fossilizers? I'm curious. I think kids will dig them. Well, kids will dig them if kids are buying them. That's my problem. I don't have a negative lean on them. I think that they're going to be fun, but at the same time, I kind of like the modulators just a little more. I just feel there's more to do there, but it's also, again, what I like doesn't necessarily mean it's going to sell well, because I like Micromasters and I like play sets, and so stuff like that speaks to me. Look, if the fossilizers have a whole bunch of little hidden, homages to stuff like we saw, like the one Beast Head with Optimus Primal's mace weapon, we'll see. But to say that the kids will dig them, yeah, kids will dig them. All four that are still buying toys today, when they're actually standing on the opposite side of a Walmart aisle, looking at the Pokemon toys, looking at the Fortnite toys, looking at the Jax Super Mario toys, and all the slime-based toys that are getting their interest. While the opposite side of the aisle with the wrestlers, the G.I. Joes, the Star Wars Black, and the Marvel Legends, along with the Transformers, is these old men like me looking at them. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see. I firmly believe, I think that if anything's going to shelf warm, it's going to be the fossilizers. I think that people are going to be buying the Cheetors, they're going to be buying the known characters, and the characters that are not based off of pre-existing lore are going to be the shelf warmers. I'm telling you, I could bet money guys like whatever it's called, Racticon and Vertebrake. I feel that those are going to be the ones. Like Vertebrake is in a case with Optimus Prime, what do you call it? Rat Trap, and I think there's one more. Why am I forgetting one more? Anyways, so Optimus Prime, Rat Trap, Vertebrake. Optimus and Rat Trap are going to disappear. Vertebrake's going to be left behind. I just know it. Watch. I'm telling you. Send me your photos in January of Vertebrake just filling up your Walmart aisle. I mean, again, look, they look fun, but I'm just thinking from a standpoint of how the market is today. I really think that they're going to be the lame duck out of it all. I think in the secondary market, collectors are not going to care about them because they're not named characters. The playability aspect, yeah, maybe the kids who still play with toys might dig it, but the kids who still play with toys are probably going to also want Cheetor, want Optimus Primal. If they're already engaged in that brand, they've probably already seen the cartoons. If War for Cybertron was for kids, they would have made a show for it based for kids instead of the Netflix exclusive that's more of an older market. Michael Koo says here, kids are asking their parents to buy Spin Master 12-inch Batman figures. Geez, I hope not. Those things are terrible. But then again, you find them all the time in clearance. So somebody's buying these stupid things with all their 3 paint applications because they cost absolutely nothing to manufacture. I think I got that for $1. Anyways, where are we at here? Proto, do you think we'll be getting a Generation 3 or Transtech cartoon sometime in the future? I doubt it. Generation 3 was Beast Wars when you really think about it. Transtech was a working name that just never really amounted to anything, unfortunately, and then Bakon did their little thing with it, and the rest is history. Maybe they might revisit the trademark years later, even though the trademark probably doesn't exist anymore in their pool, but we'll see. When they, Hasbro, unfortunately, sometimes they run out of ideas for names for series. Like when you really think about it, like you had Cyberverse, old trademark from Dark of the Moon. Then you had Transformers Robots in Disguise. What a trademark. Transformers Prime, animated, Cybertron, trademark. Energon, trademark. Armada was the only one that kind of was like a unique name in a lot of ways because all you could connect it to is "and his Armada," the Cyclonus thing. So we shall see. It's sad when like Titaniums is a more fresh name in a lot of ways, but it wasn't based off of a series. Proto Man, what is your favorite tiny turbo changer? I don't know. I really like that new the new Alpha Strike. There's my box of tiny turbo changers. Alpha Strike, which is the one that's based off of Strika. I mean, I would like if she had more paint, but she's pretty cool, and it's cool too because she kind of like a shoulder cannon going on there. I mean, I got all the new ones. Here's the new it's Hot Rod, but it's not Hot Rod. It's actually Wheeljack, and they just gave him a mustache. I got a whole bunch of them, and the completely unpainted Wild Wheel. Cracked open the case. The case is empty now. I put aside all the doubles, which are going to be mailed out to my higher tier patrons probably next month. I'm going to do some kind of gift boxes for my higher tier patrons, so I have a whole bunch of extras that I'll throw into the old gift boxes. But yeah, again, I like that Alpha Strike. The Hot Rod's cool too, but that's kind of a bias. Proto, do you think a Blaster repaint of Netflix Earthrise Soundwave is likely? Nah, I'd rather Blasters made from an original mold. You could do Earthrise Soundwave in the Sound Blaster, which they've done, and they will do. And then you could do a Blaster and do Twin Cast. I've yet to see Hasbro really look at that color alternative for Blaster. We're seeing a lot of black Soundwaves now, but we're not seeing many blue Blasters. So it'd be nice to see Twin Cast kind of get some love in the modern era outside of third party. Hey Proto, in the real world scenario, if Transformers exist in real life, do you think we could have intervented something like a 9/11 level attack? No. I think that our technology is not up to snuff. I think that The only way it would have been solved would be kind of like how the movie Independence Day handled it, where they just nuked New York and it didn't work. So they'd have to nuke a city where all the robots are in. That would be the only way. I don't think we would have the capacity or power to stop a bunch of giant robots kicking the crap out of each other. That's just my take. Do you ever read the Transformers Avengers crossover? Yes, I do. I actually have. I can't reach it. I have the giant trade paperback of it. I love it. It's really good. Really, really, really good. Oh man, where is it? There it is. Here we go. Really, really, really good. I liked it a lot. I like Iron Man with his very cool looking Iron Man armor thing. It's amazing how they didn't integrate the Marvel Transformer stuff properly, like the toy line, into that comic book. I found that so fascinating how they didn't really do that with all the characters. But it's really good. I like it. I really like it. Where are we at here? Hey, Proto Man! Took your advice and ordered the entire last wave of Earthrise from Entertainment Earth. It was right move since I've only seen 2 figures. Well, last wave stuff is always difficult, man. Last wave stuff is always limited. Doesn't get much of a distribution depending on what city you're in. If you're in what I call wave 1, purgatory, where wave 1 didn't sell well and your Walmart refuses to get anything else until wave 1 moves out, you're pretty much screwed. So good luck on you, man. It's good that you got it. Dear Protoman, do you think we'll get a Selects Ghost Starscream? If they want to do a clear repaint. We haven't had one in retail in a very long time. Last completely clear repaint retail product, I want to say, in Western market. Stealth Lockdown, which I believe was a Target exclusive. I could be wrong with that. Completely clear repaint for Western retail market. Yeah, I could be right. So it's been a while since they've done that, and there might be a reason for it, because that Stealth Lockdown's pretty fragile. So, hey, Proudo, how would you write an animated... Ooh, whoa, everything's just bumping up here. Animated Transformers G.I. Joe crossover movie. Well, I wouldn't make it animated, for one, because we have too many talented people in Hollywood that could do the G.I. Joe portion of it properly. And I think we already did get it, and it was called Transformers the Movie 2007, directed by Michael Bay. It's G.I. Joe versus Transformers. Josh Duhamel is Duke. Tyrese Gibson is Roadblock. Guy who got killed by Scorponok, what was his name? Figueroa. He's Tunnel Rat. We got that movie. And Michael Bay directed it. And we liked it. Most of us liked it. Hey, Proto, do you think we could get official Masterpiece versions of Jazz and Mirage? I have the Make Toys beat down. Well, so I think Jazz is on his way. Jazz will happen. I think that the Studio Series Jazz is kind of 86 Studio Series Jazz is kind of them testing water before they do the official one. Mirage is a little more difficult because that's Ligier, that's Formula One. I don't know how those trademarks are going to be. That's a messy licensing trademark thing. Multi-million-dollar Formula One throwback to the late 70s, twin turbo. I don't know. Thank you for the happy holidays, Lego. What about a Boo Mirage that came with Zitar and Impactor? Ooh, I don't know what the rest of the question was. Dear Proto, in my mind, Acid Storm sounds like Richard Mole, Two-Face from Batman the Animated Series. Okay. I remember him somewhat, his Harvey Dent. It's been a while. I haven't watched it in so long. I watched Batman Beyond recently. Hey, Proto, do you think Sector 7 could use Dropkick and Shatter Remains to create G.I. Joe, Joe or Mask vehicles in a Bumblebee sequel? Well, that's kind of in a lot of ways what the Human Alliance stuff was back in Dark of the Moon. It kind of was this merge of Mask meets Transformer kind of technology. So it would kind of be retreading the same thing that we got back in 2009 and 2010 and 2011 with those lines. pretty much. And those did not sell well, especially the smaller price point Human Alliance stuff. Some of the later characters of those are worth quite a bit of money now because no one bought them and there's no secondary market. I think it's a Major Mayhem is one of them that came with, it was like a red guy. Goes for good coin. Very tough to get today. Doesn't sell well. Doesn't end up in the secondary market. Hard to find later. Money. Dear Proto, would you like to see a Mayhem Attack squad become a big thing? I want them to be as huge as their Wreckers counterparts. Well, Wreckers aren't really that huge in the mainstream also. I mean, outside of like the Michael Bay movie Wreckers, comic book versions are popular, but they're popular in that microcosm of the comic book fandom. If they show up in animation, then they'll probably get more of an attention. I would love someone like Bludgeon to get more Stranglehold. Oh. Someone like Stranglehold or Octopunch to get more attention. That'd be cool. Proto, how do you envision a Generations return of the TF animated? Give me season 4, hire Derek Wyatt again. And then bring me in so I could argue with Derek about how we should do the story. Dear Proto, since Make Toys is somewhat going on right now, do you think they'll do a figure that I called Immortal Meteor, third-party animated? I don't really deal with the third-party guys. I talk with them a little bit when we do custom class stuff, but otherwise I don't really talk with them when it comes to the creative or development. They do their own thing. They actually focus more on the Chinese market and then worry about us afterwards. So my opinions are hardly a reflection of what they're actually aiming for. Hey Proto, what is your favorite toy from the Titans Return toy line? That's a good question. Titans Return, eh? I'm not going to say Hot Rod, obviously, because that's the easy one. The Blur was really good. Blur was really good. If you want to count that HasCon RC, that was pretty fun. Was that Megatron part of Titans Return? No, that was Combiner Wars. Oh! I know what my favorite one is. Metal Hawk from that box set. He was amazing. Because that was like one of the best Metal Hawk toys we got for the longest time before this guy. So I'll go with Metal Hawk. Pretty cool, that one. Expensive to get, but pretty cool. Metal Hawk. Yeah, I'll go with Metal Hawk. Proto, think Hasbro could use the TFFOD animation errors like Dirge colored. They could use them as character. Look, Slipstream the character. People don't usually talk about this, but Slipstream, in a lot of ways, her birth came from an animation mistake. There was a couple of frames of animation in More Meets the Eye, I think part 2 or part 3, where one of the Seeker jets has a different kind of shape because of the way the cell was drawn, and it created this myth of the Lady in Purple, which was a fan in the fandom called Rakshasha. She was like, oh, it's the Lady in Purple, it's a female purple Seeker jet, and that, developed later on into what we have as Slipstream today. So can an animation model one day evolve into an animation mistake, one day evolve into a actual canon character? That's what Holler was, so that was a lot of characters. So it's very possible. Very, very possible. Would Hasbro do it? Unless there's money to be made. Sometimes if it's too obscure, it's not worth doing. Holler was always a named character, so that kind of had some cred. And in the case of Slipstream, hey, a female Seeker jet, it was money from day one. Where are we at? Hey, Proto, do you think we will get a Studio Series figure of that two-headed Shockwave character from Age of Extinction? I firmly believe that Studio Series at one point is going to do everything. So sooner or later they will do the obscure and weird characters. I think I've felt this for a while now, that Studio Series 86 exists because I think they're worried that at the current pace they're going, they're going to get everything done and then they'll have nothing left. So if you throw in the 86 movie in there, it buys them like 6 months to a year to 2 years of product that they could still be, again, the Chinese market loves movie stuff, selling to the Chinese market, and of course us in the process. Proto, do you think we could get a Generation Selects blaster in his cassettes? Well, I don't think they would do it as Generation Selects. I think they would make it a retail product. To do a brand new mold to put it in Generation Selects would be silly. Would they do a Generation Selects repaint of Twincast, and then all the cassettes are homages to the repaints of those ones, like Rosanna and stuff like that? Yeah, sure. I could see that. And then you could get your Kissplay homage thrown in there. Someone was saying Kissplay before. So, where we at? Michael Koo, one of our channel members. Michael's awesome. Why would Disney buy Hasbro when Disney is making big bucks from licensing? Well, if Disney bought Hasbro, then Disney would have Hasbro, who already does their Disney Princess stuff and a lot of their other toys. So if they already own it, they could do it in-house. And then Disney has all those Disney stores that then they could fill with all that Hasbro product that's already being made because they already own the stuff. The flip side of it, like you mentioned, is Hasbro pays money to them for licensing, but who knows? I firmly believe Hasbro wants to do its own thing and probably has rejected an offer one or a few or a billion times up to this point. I feel that Hasbro is probably going to grow in the future and probably buy out some of the smaller entities, including a certain little Mattel one day. That's just my take. Not going to happen tomorrow, but maybe in 5 years, Masters of the Universe is going to be palling around with Optimus Prime. Let's put it that way. Hey Proto, if animated returns, will we ever get a Supreme or larger leader class Lugnut, along with a rare TFA Voyager? Well, if it ever returned, the question is, would they want to return to that 2008, 2009, 2010 budget of production of toys, and then put that in retail? Ooh, I don't know. I can't imagine some of those beefy animated toys that were called deluxes being released today with the way the budget is with the toys today. And the paint apps. My goodness. Like, animated is amazing. Like, I mean, you can only see, like, just the beginning of my animated stuff over here. But, like, animated's an amazing line, but it's not going to fit in the way that the budget is for deluxe price point today. It won't. Maybe some of the Voyagers, but deluxe price point. Look, I was just reminded by General Techno, one of the guys in my Discord, deluxes in Canada are going to be $33. $33. I'm waiting for sales. I ain't buying that. That's too expensive for my blood. I got a mortgage to pay. You know, I didn't buy all of this buying it at full price. No way. It's not how that works. So, I don't know how that budget's going to work for me for something like animated to exist. GameStop just had a toy sale, 20% off. And if you have their Edge card too, you get discounts. But you have to pay for that, so it's kind of like Costco. You roll the dice if you're going to get a deal. Where are we at here? Hasbro should stop rating third-party companies. You can't make good figures. Okay. Bro, if you made an IP, you Philip Lamb, you made something, you're proud of it, you created it, you're making money from it, you're putting food on your table to feed your kids with it, and then a third-party company comes and does a better job than you and steals your IP, pretty sure you'd be pretty ticked too. Okay? I understand, look, I like some of the stuff the third party does, I appreciate it, but to say that what they're doing is clean and should be totally fine, it's a gray area that is, you can't even get into the morals of it. You know? Can't even get into the morals of it. Hasbro does Marvel Legends, right? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Dear Proto, would you enjoy voicing Rodimus in a More Than Meets the Eye fan dub? I don't know if my voice would be good for him, though. I don't really see myself as a Rodimus voice character. I've always felt that, I mean, hey, if someone wants me to voice Rodimus, that's fine. But, I mean, I don't think I got the Judd Nelson in me. I think I'm more of a Blue Streak kind of character. Not Huffer. Who else is, you know, maybe Braun, you know, could do a Braun character. I don't know. As much as it would be a dream to voice Hot Rod, that would be cool. I don't think I'm the best choice. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people are hearing something different, but I don't hear it. I don't hear it personally. Just being honest. Proto, do you think we will get a chance? I guess you meant to write change. A chance to buy the Earthrise jets, Prowler in different waves. Missed out on them on Amazon. I could see those molds at some point being available elsewhere, but not those characters. I don't think they're gonna I don't think Earthrise Ironhide is going to be released elsewhere. I think that's your only opportunity is Amazon, and that is it. Maybe the Ironhide mold without the light bar is going to be repainted into toe line or something down the line, but I don't see that Ironhide getting something outside of like a Netflix battle damage, color scheme or something. Maybe they'll do that, but you're not going to get what you want. You're not going to get specifically that toy singular in retail. Hey Proto, do you ever think Hasbro will do a reissue of the Siege Rainmaker 3-pack? Probably not. A lot of these stuff, guys, I see where it's coming from. It's because it's stuff that you missed out on, and you're hoping that Hasbro is going to reissue it so that you could get it. But at the same time, Hasbro, look, if it sells out, that's what they're going to give you. That's the finger they're going to give you. Hey, awesome, we made money and it sold out of all the retailers. And that means the retailers are going to go, oh, wow, we want more of that, and they're going to order more. They're not going to feel pity if you didn't get a figure. And they're not going to reissue it because you didn't get it. Reissues also exist from a money-making standpoint. And those Rainmaker 3-packs, they were 2 per case. They were limited because they were 2 per case. They were a big, pricey, expensive 3-pack item. And when they sold out, they sold out. If you want to be angry, don't be angry at Hasbro. Be angry at the scalpers who bought them up in your location. Dear Proto, I'm still waiting for a proper deluxe version of Squeeze Play, Horrible, and Fangry. I would like those too, but unfortunately, Hasbro's not interested in the Headmaster Juniors. Show me my modern Nightbeat / Minerva that's done properly, or Hosehead, aka Cab, or Sirens, aka Goshuta. We don't have those. We have versions of them through the Japanese market and stuff like that, but nothing really retail. Hey Proto, missed out on the Amazon Ironhide. What is the odds of a restock? Little to none, honestly. Orlando, is it just me or the number of exclusives seem to be a little out of control compared to the past? Yup. Primarily because they're seeing that if a store could pay millions of dollars to Hasbro to get a run of exclusives and they sell out and then they make zillions more than the investment, Walmart pays $1 million to Hasbro to get X amount of exclusives made, one wave, 4 figures of deluxes. And then they take that million and sell billions that sell out because they're exclusives and people freak out and they get scalped. Everyone's happy, except the people who missed out. Like I said, you want to stop that problem, don't buy people who upsell product that they buy and resell. If you're someone that's angry about not getting something and then a guy selling that same figure you're looking for on eBay for double the price and you pay it, be angry at yourself because you're continuing that. Or you could starve them. That guy buys a bunch of, Bumblebees from Netflix and sits on them because no one's buying it at the scalp price. He won't do it again because he's stuck with them. Proto, do you think I should buy Cyberverse Deluxe Soundwave? Yes, you should. He looks awesome. I'm going to buy him. If you like him, buy him. Hey, Proto, what is your prediction for MPM 12? Well, what is left? We already got Ratchet. Unless they want to do a large size Frenzy, which they're not going to do, they're probably going to have to move on to, unless they want to do a large size Scorponok, which they won't do either, they're going to probably have to move on to Revenge of the Fallen characters. Let's go with Ice Cream Twins? Because Ice Cream Twins would be better than just Skids and Mudflap on their own. Because they probably wouldn't sell well. Hey, Proto, do you think I should buy a deluxe Soundwave from Cyberverse? Yes, you should. Again. Dear Proto, if you had to sell anything, but could afford to keep one Hot Rod Optimus Prime figure, what would it be? What was the one that I would keep? Well, I have a lot of prototypes and stuff, so I don't want to count those. I would obviously, I think probably my favorite Hot Rod figure outside of the original is the Henkei 2000, I think it was 2007 it came out. Henkei Rodimus with the gold spoiler. Love that one. Still one of my favorite Rodimus toys to this day. Hot Rod Rodimus, whatever. When I get my hands on a certain something in the future, that might change. That might change. See what Kingdom gives us. Are the Marvel Transformer comics canon to the 616 Marvel universe? Yes and no. Technically yes, technically no. The Savage Land exists in that version, and so does Spider-Man. They mention each other, but it kind of falls into that pocket continuity with Crystar. If anyone remembers Crystar, this line, where it also kind of crossed over with Marvel brands like the Alpha Flight and X-Men during the 70s and 80s. So yes and no. I feel like it's more it's like it's a 616 that exists, but Transformers really is the predominant focus, and once in a while someone from 616 could come in, but the Avengers aren't coming to stop, the Decepticons from destroying Earth, so it's kind of weird. Would a possible solution to the issue of exclusive and scalpers be Hasbro to put out a pre-order manufacturer based on the number of pre-orders? But then what happens if you miss the pre-order and they're made to order? Would you feel good knowing that there's no way to get it because they only have a set amount of numbers? People would hate that. Imagine you can't afford it. Imagine the week that the pre-order goes up, you're on vacation. Imagine you're at TFCon. Imagine you're at a con. Imagine you have no money. Imagine you have no job. And they go, we're going to pre-order this blue repaint of Smashdown. And only 50 people pre-order it. Now there's only 50 in existence. You don't want that system, trust me. We're going to see how that works with Unicron, because Unicron is technically one of the first examples of a made-to-order kind of thing. There's not going to be extra. So we're going to see how that market handles it. Granted, it's a huge toy. It's a big, big markup. We're going to see how that's handled. Where we at? Wouldn't Hasbro make more money if they had regional Hasbro Pulse sites like European ones and Asian ones, etc.? They'd have to set them up. They'd have to set websites up. They'd have to set servers up. They'd have to hire people. They'd have to hire stockroom people. They'd have to buy stockrooms. They'd have to buy land. They'd have to buy warehouses. At one point, do you feel the money leaving their wallets when they could just do it from one spot? I don't suggest that. What do they do with the Hasbro Pulse stuff for Canada? Instead of having a Hasbro Pulse Canada regional, they just send it to Toys R Us and let it be Toys R Us's problem, and Toys R Us's stockroom, and Toys R Us's employees, and Toys R Us's website, and Toys R Us's server. See what I'm getting at there? But yeah. Come on, Proto, you're killing me. What am I killing you on? I'm just being real, man. I'm being real. Would you prefer I lie to you guys? Would I prefer to give you hope and tell you the truth of what's going on? I can't, man. It's how it works. Dear Proto, were you also disappointed there were how Stella got her groove back references in Bumblebee? No. I don't think they would have put that reference because I don't think most of the audience would have got it. I was raised in a hood area of Montreal with Jaws D and everything, so watched a lot of Afrocentric kind of movies, but I don't think a majority of the viewing audience of Transformers would have understood Friday or how Stella got her groove back references, even with Angela Bassett. Protoman, do you think people should get Transformers Kingdom if they like it? If they like Beast Wars, I'm pretty sure they're excited for it. It is going to be an increase in price point. Core class figures are going to give a need to some of the more G1 characters if they want pocket G1 Optimus Primes, Megatrons, Bumblebees, or whatnot. But it really is, I mean, whenever someone asks, like, should I get it? The question is, well, do you like it? I'll give you the value. I think that some of them are really great, but I think that the price is kind of a little crazy right now. So get it on sale. Wave 1 Wave 1 is not going to be limited. I'm going to say this right now. Wave 1 is not going to be limited. There's going to be plenty of Wave 1. The second that holiday season is over and they've liquidated all their Earthrise stock with Boxing Day and Black Friday 5.0 and all the new gimmicks that they're doing, Cyber Monday, 12 Tuesday, you know, they're going to dump Wave 1 of Kingdom on us. And then you're going to have sales. Don't worry about not getting Cheetor if you don't get it on day 1. Wave 2? Maybe. Wave 3? Oh, of course. Wave 4? Yeah, I'd worry. But Wave 1? Never. You guys could still find Ironworks. You could still find Cliff Jumper. You could still find, who else was in that? Hoist. You could still find all that Wave 1 Earthrise stuff kicking around in retail. Wave 1 never sells out. They always get plenty of it because the retailers get cases of that stuff. Especially coming off of Christmas. Damn right they're going to have tons of cases of it. Hey Proto. How come we didn't get a vote on a character getting an update on Kingdom? Like, how do we get Mirage, Impact, or Run Amok? You have to ask Hasbro on that one. I don't understand why they do votings that don't really have too much of a consequence anymore. They used to. Look at Windblade was, you know, that was a voting that mattered. And when they did the Combiner Team girls, at least they were kind of featured in the comic in a big sense. You know, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in the future with that. Proto, in regards to vintage G1 collecting, will it ever return to what it was back in the early mid-2000s? No. No. Here's the thing. Here's a reality check. In the early 2000s of G1 collecting, you didn't have China. China didn't care about Transformers, and they didn't have a middle class in 2000 to 2005. Then the movies came out, they exploded. China cared about the movies, and they had a middle class, and they raided Japan, their neighbors. They raided the eBay market. Do you know how many times I sell on eBay, and it goes to a Chinese proxy seller? So it's never going to go back. If anything, it's going to get worse. I look at old photos that I have from BotCon back in the day, like 2004, 2003, and I'll see like mint in box Grandis complete, $400. And it's like, why didn't I buy it then? And today, mint in box Grandis complete, 1,500 maybe? Like, you know, only like a 300 to 400% price increase. Craziness. Dear Proto, would you buy a King Kong versus Megatron T-Rex 2-pack? Well, if it looks nice, if it's going to be just the same old, same old. I mean, I like the masterpieces that we got. So to get me to buy a character again, you got to really reinvent the wheel. You know, you got to really reinvent the wheel. Give me a really good color scheme or something. My money's worth my time. I need to buy good stuff with my money. Can't just buy everything. Dear Proto, what do you think you would have done with Transformers Animated Crunch? In the BotCon proposal art you showed, he had a Decepticon symbol. Well, that's if there would have been a series. I mean, there's too much to unpack there. Is there going to be a series? Is that character going to be featured? What does Derek Wyeth think about it? Because he's kind of the authority on that, in my opinion. I would never want to step on Derek's feet when it comes to his baby. So that's a Derek question more. Hey, Mr. Proto, G1 Trax has an unused peg hole on his back. What do you think that's intended for? Possibly a retool in the future. When you really think about it, they probably were intending maybe to do something during that Diaclone era. And just nothing ever came of it. A lot of stuff didn't happen. When you're getting on that cusp between the end of Diaclone, Microman, and getting into when Transformers was becoming Transformers, a lot of ideas just never happened. Hey Proto, what were your thoughts on the Weijang Thunder Leader, aka oversized MP4 Optimus Prime? It's an oversized movie Optimus Prime toy. I have lots of movie Optimus Prime toys. And I like my wallet. I think I'll be fine with what I got. Looks cool. If someone gave it to me for free, okay, cool. It'll sit right there. It'll stand right there and it'll be nice. Do you intend to buy all the Studio Series 86 movie toys? Yes, but not at full price. Studio Series toys are ridiculously overpriced. That hot rod, I already have it, and it's very tiny. It's very tiny, and to pay a Voyager price point for that, oof, hurts my wallet. You have to understand something. Like, I have a massive collection. It's huge, no joke, huge, giggity, huge. At least 7 inches. The problem is that I got this collection not buying anything at full price in general, except for like key characters I really like. And it's because every year there's a rollover. There's some guy unloading his stuff. There's some guy that bought, all of Earthrise and doesn't want it anymore. And then I could get it literally 50 cents on the dollar. And all that savings that I get from just waiting makes me complete sets very easily. So I will get all of Studio Series 86. You'll just probably get it before me, because I ain't going to buy it right away. Dear Proto, what's your favorite Wild Rider figure? He's my favorite Stunticon. Well, they had a really good, extremely expensive Hot Rod repaint of him, which I have over there. Probably a $300 toy today. Oof. I do not know. Oh, let's go with the original. I mean, the animated one's pretty cool too. But that's kind of a different continuity. Hey, Proto, I'm getting the Transformers Devastation game for Christmas. That's awesome, brother. Really good, really good game. Platinum Games did a good job with it. Where are we at? We got 20 minutes left in the segment. Hey, Proto, if MPM is making Blackout next, how large should you expect him to be? Well, if he's going to be to scale with the others, he's going to be pretty darn huge. I imagine he's going to be... They'll probably make him no joke, like maybe a head taller than Megatron. I think that's what they'll do. He'll be expensive if he's a head taller than Megatron. But he will be. He'll be expensive. Hey, Proto, any issues with MP43 Beast Wars Megatron crotch cracking? I transformed him twice, and that was it. I was worried about the paint on him. So, no crotch cracking. But I'm also... I'm very kids' gloves with my toys. I'm very careful with them, especially with the ones that I paid big money for. Hey, Proto, what is your favorite Transformer Alternators figure? Probably... I'm going to go with the Subaru Impreza blue streak, because that was a really nice mold. The Subaru is freaking amazing in that. And that's the 2005 Subaru, which is boss. I mean, obviously, Rodimus is going to get in there with the Ford... I think 500. Is it 500? Ford 500? No, Ford 100? 500. Anyways. Jazz pretty cool too. If you could get the Zoom repaint, the red repaint of the Jazz of the RX-8. Really nice. That was a Vinyl Tech exclusive. I like them all. They're all very beautiful. I have almost a full run, including Vinyl Tech. I love those guys. As a mechanic, they speak to me on levels that people would not be able to understand. Who is your favorite TFA character who didn't get a figure? Minerva, if you don't count the custom class. Let's go with who didn't get a figure? Who didn't get a figure? I have to almost crack open the almanac. Let's go with internet personality Vangelis. No. I don't know. Who didn't get a figure that was good? I need a better figure. I want a better Sentinel Prime. I want a Voyager class Sentinel Prime. How about that one? Do that instead. Let's go with Strika. Strika didn't get a good figure at all. So we'll go with her. Hey Proto, did you notice any season 4? Did you notice that animated season 4 is gonna have Slipstream revive Starscream back to life? It was somewhat explained in the Allspark Almanac. Yep, I have the Allspark Almanac. I have the single versions and then the big fat version. Although some of the stuff written in the Almanac is actually contradictory to what Derek originally intended, because the Almanac was written by two individuals that Derek did not approve of a lot of the stuff in it. So take the canon of that with a grain of salt. We got a super chat from Michael Koo. Thank you, Michael, for the super chat. You are awesome, brother. Proto, how much do you think HasLab is losing with each HasLab Unicron? They're not losing no money. If anything, they made a lot of money. They made a lot of money. I think that HasLab Unicron was considered a failure, but in the same way that they made less profit than they wanted to make. They still made money. Especially considering the fact that when you look at how many non-Americans bought HasLab Unicron that I know and paid full shipping, and I know that Hasbro probably has their own little shipping deals and stuff like that. They probably make money on that shipping too. Look, let's put it this way. They got $4.4 million of our money when it was all said and done, and sat on it for, what are we, going on 2 years now? If they took that $4.4 million and put it in the bank and invested it, even on a 4% GIC, they're making money. They're making money. We gave them money. We didn't get product for 2 years. Still waiting. Still waiting. Where are we at? But thank you for the super chat question, brother. Dear Proto, would you enjoy doing a collab with Thu? What would Thu want to do with me? Thu is good on his own. He doesn't need me. I don't really do toy reviews anymore. It would be Thu holding the toy, and it would be me in the background just like, it's a homage to Firebolt. You know, like it would just be me in the background giving tidbits and facts that people don't care. I think he does a good job. He doesn't need me to do a collab. Do you have any McDonald's figures? Tons. Tons. Where do you want to begin on that one? There's a fan-made season 4 for animated. Also, sorry for reposting. It's okay. I miss stuff because everything gets pushed up very quickly. Merry Christmas, Proto. Thank you, Ty. We have 15 minutes left, boys and Goyles. Do you have any McDonald's figures? Also, okay, now it's repeated again. That's a great video. I don't know what video you're talking about. I hope it's not the one where I'm yelling in the background while he's talking in the foreground. Dear Proto, I'm surprised Steve Wright has never voiced Dead End in anything. Perfect match. Voice actors are very talented, and that's why they have their jobs. So sometimes it doesn't have to be actors voice acting. I think Michael Bell and Peter Cullen, and Gary Chalk, and all of those individuals, David Kay, Scott McNeil. I mean, I just saw the Sonic the Hedgehog movie recently again for the second time. And when did I perk up out of my seat? When I saw Gary Chalk. He was in the movie. You want to see Optimus Primal? Go watch the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Where are we at? What was the BotCon exclusive figure that used the Grand Maximus Pretender shell but colored in gray? You are talking about the Megatron, and that wasn't a BotCon exclusive. It was a Transformer Collector Club 5.0 figure, and it was delicious, and it was amazing, and the story of how that even came to be was because of eHobby, hoping that Fortress Maximus's reissue in Japan would sell well. It didn't sell well, so they were going to do a Grand Maximus reissue. It didn't happen, but they already pulled out the molds to do it. So since the molds were already pulled out from the archives, the Fun Publication grabbed it. They made the Megatron, and the rest is history. And I love that Megatron toy. Love it. I love weird stuff like that. Along with Truck Monkey Optimus. If Hasbro still had the WWF license, what TF wrestler mashup would you like to see? Like a Bret Hart Hot Rod. Here's the thing. I love Bret Hart. I love Hot Rod. I keep them literally on my computer desk. No joke. But, guys, there was a wrestler in the 80s called Hot Rod, Roddy Piper. And I think that would be a better mix. They also have similar colors. Both are kind of hot-headed. Mind you, one is a bad guy, kind of, technically a heel. Although he became a good guy later. And he's Canadian, so, kind of lean on that too. But Roddy Piper would probably be a better crossover with Hot Rod. Going to some of the others, though. When you think about, like, Bret Hart, right? Like, who would he be? There's a lot of really cool shaded kind of characters, too, that would probably work. I mean, there's not a lot of male Transformer characters that rock pink, even though Hot Rod is like a magenta, and then the Seacons is pink. But, I mean, there'd be a lot of cool stuff. Imagine, like, Lockdown, like animated Lockdown, mixed with The Undertaker. Or Optimus Prime as John Cena, Yeah, you got to look at the more colorful, kooky characters in wrestling to compare them to Transformers. You have a lot of really cool stuff there. Dusty Rhodes mixed with Bulkhead. That'd be a fun one. But yeah. Do you think we will get Action Master characters and RED or full-size Pretenders? When you think of Action Master unique characters like Rad and Rollout, I don't think there'll be an RED. I think you'll see those probably as trademarks in actual stuff. Full-size Pretenders. I think the RED line is just going to stick to the hits. They're not going to give us obscure stuff. I really don't think we're going to get obscure stuff. Like, RC is about as obscure as it's going to get. Like a Transformers Prime RC is about as obscure. If the line is successful. But yeah. Where are we at here? I would love a Transformers WWE crossover. Muscle car repaint of Kane. That'd be cool. With flames coming out of the back. That'd be cool. Dear Proto, what scene did Micro Legend do better in Armada that was your favorite? A lot. Most of the animation is better. I think the one time the Armada version was better was the way they handled the voice acting for the death of Starscream and the way they handled the music with it. But, I mean, that kind of edges it out just a little bit. But, I mean, when you look at Death of Smokescreen, also known as Grap or Grapple, the Micron Legends version is way better. Better animation, better voice acting, more passion in the voice acting. And that's not to knock Gary Chalk and the crew, but when you're doing anime, you're kind of limited in those booths with lip matching and stuff like that, less freedom to really act. Do you think Hasbro would make a video game characters in the Studio Series line? If they ran out of ideas, that's about it, really. If they ran out of ideas, I think they're going to want to do... Again, Studio Series is about animation accuracy. I don't think they're going to dive into video games just yet. Dear Proto, are you looking forward to the standalone Snake Eyes movie? Yes, I am. I always want G.I. Joe to be successful. I like G.I. Joe. And it's always having a tough time. And if a ninja movie is going to jumpstart it and make these t-shirts sell better. By the way, symbiotestudios.com. Check out their stuff. Symbiote Studios. Use promo code PROTOMASS and get Snake Eyes. If I would like to see the movie successful, bring in stuff, more characters. I still to this day feel Michael Bay should have done the G.I. Joe movies. I think it would have been a completely different animal and probably would have been successful. Who knows? Hey, Proto, what are your thoughts on Skylynx? Oops, moved up there. Your thoughts on Skylynx as a character? I like him. Bit of I consider him like the intelligent, the intelligent asshole Dinobot character. That's how I've always kind of parsed him in. Like, what if one of the Dinobots was really smart but a bit of a dick? Dear Proto, who would you like to cast for an animated movie adaptation of Beast Wars: The Gathering? Well, now you're making me pick actors. Get the original cast. That's all. I ain't getting no official actors. Look, if you're a B-list actor and you're not pretty enough for the screen anymore, and you want to go behind a microphone, then get good. But otherwise, I'm going to get the Beast Wars, Ocean Group cast back. I'm going to get Ian Corlett, Scott McNeil, Sue Blue directing, not some Hollywood director that's just going to try to make some easy cash, just so he could say that he got, I don't know, B-list celebrity of the month on a microphone. You won't believe it. I was in the office today and I was voice directing Eddie Murphy. It's like, okay, he's Donkey. What was your favorite Studio Series toy? I would have to go with Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. He's pretty darn good. I'll say I don't want to say least favorite, but I was disappointed with the Studio Series Hot Rod World War II one. That was a floppy mess, and considering I paid full price for that, and he's kind of small for a deluxe, and I think I paid like $40 for him after taxes in Canada. Wasn't happy with that one. He's probably not the worst. I could throw in Ratchet and a few of the others that I got cheaply, but I was definitely disappointed with that Hot Rod. Had higher expectations for my boy. Do you think Kingdom will release this month? He's probably going to be breaking street sales, if not next month. It's supposed to be January 14th is the official launch date. They'll break street. They will. I guarantee after Christmas they're going to be showing up in stores. Dear Proto, my Skyrain limbs are Wreck-R, Afterbreaker, Groove, and Streetwise. See, like you're trying to do a little bit of a motorcycle thing going on there, except for Streetwise. Maybe one day you'll get an extra motorcycle. Maybe they'll do like an RC motorcycle limb one day. We got 7 minutes left, my people. Proto Man, in a universe where the TF and WWE mash up and Starscream gets the HBK treatment because of a Montreal screw job, or the barbershop betrayal, which is what you're referring to with Marty Jannetty. Which Seeker could be Marty Jannetty? I'm going to go with Thundercracker, because Thundercracker was almost going to be a good guy. Michael Koo wants to know with the super chat. Thank you again, Michael Koo. That's awesome, brother. Protoman, what are your top 3 Transformers to be done as Christmas versions? Ooh. Well, you got to go with the red, white, and brown. So let's go with, you got to take Hoist and make him a Christmas tree. We got to have a Santa. So we got to have a red and white, but a blaring red and white. So let's go with Jetfire Santa, because he could fly around and bring people stuff. And then we got to have a glowing gimmick for a Rudolph. And who's a glowing gimmick? I'm trying to see a good glowing gimmick. The laser rods. So then we could use one of the laser rods for the glowing gimmick to lead the way. That was terrible. I apologize. I should have thought better into this. I don't know. I have to say, if you want Christmas Transformers, BotBots has that Christmas tree Transformer. I'm still trying to track that down. I remember I found a case of it, and that was the only one that was missing. Someone picked that out. That is so cool, a tree Transformer. And it sucks because every year I want to do like a nice photo, like for Christmas, for like in my Instagram, and I have to like always improvise. Like I'm thinking this year I'm going to do something like with a Christmas tree made out of Lego with the Creo and stuff. I don't know. I'll think of something. But I don't know. Be cool. I want to get more Christmas Transformer related stuff. Be cool. I want to get that Christmas tree one. Whatever his name was. Deck the Halls? Probably had some weird name. Where is it? Dear Proto, who is your least favorite character in Beast Wars and why? Here's the crazy thing. So my least favorite character in Beast Wars is probably Airazor, but that doesn't mean I don't like her. I think she's awesome. But compared to some of the other characters, she's just the least interesting. Like, who also joins Airazor at the bottom there? Like, Pterosaur and Scorponok and, so like, and again, Pterosaur is slightly more fun than Scorponok. He has his moments and the way he dies is always funny. So It's just she's kind of at the bottom. Because when you look at the Maximals, Rhinox is cool, Dinobot is awesome, Cheetor is awesome, uh, Depth Charge, Optimus Primal, Silverbolt. I know I'm forgetting somebody, you know, like they're all great characters. And even on the Preds, someone like, Tarantulas and Black Arachnia and Rampage and Waspinator. How could you hate Waspinator? And Beast Wars Megatron's the greatest thing ever. She just kind of is at the bottom. But Airazor is still way more interesting than a lot of G1 characters. So she's my least favorite, but I don't hate Airazor. I still love Airazor as a character. I'm excited about her toy. I love her as a character. She was great in the manga version. Of Beast Wars Metal manga. She was a cool character. But yeah, that's my answer. But it's, again, I don't want to knock Airazor. She's my least favorite, but she's still awesome. Hey Proto, how would you expand upon the Pterosaur character? Well, not make him a Starscream character. How you make him not a Starscream? You give him a redemption arc. You do what Armada did. You make him a traitor, but then he joins the Maximals and somehow becomes a good guy in the end. I mean, isn't it kind of funny how the one episode that had Starscream in it, Possession, the season 1 episode, they made sure that Pterosaur was kind of on the side, kind of a little too close to home. So, also voiced by the same voice actor because they couldn't get Chris Latta. We got 2 minutes left, guys. Not many time left for questions. 2 minutes left, and then we're going to call it a day. Dear Proto. Oh, no, we got 9 minutes. I read the wrong clock. I apologize. We got 9 minutes left. Dear Proto, how do you think the storyline for an animated Shattered series would have gone? Derek actually had a plan for that. He had a plan for that. If you bought... There was this gigantic lithograph. I have it in the other room. There's a whole bunch of like tech spec bios, and they had a few Shattered Glass animated tech spec bios. And if you read those bios, it's kind of like what they had planned for a Shattered Glass universe. It's a question for Derek, because he actually has it in his head, and his idea is way more canon than anything I would do. Hey Proto, what is your opinion on Kingdom Cheetor? He looks like a kind of cheap compared to the others. I'll be honest with you, I kind of agree with you there. I think Kingdom Cheetor is kind of the weaker one of the bunch. A lot of the deluxes, with the exception of Black Arachnia, and I think Black Arachnia gets away with it because she's skinny, so they didn't need as much plastic. And of course, you have the Masterpiece Engineering to go off of to kind of have inspiration. A lot of the deluxes I'm kind of not feeling. It's the Voyagers that really have me excited. The larger price point stuff, and the smaller price point stuff too. But we'll see. I agree with you, though. The Cheetor is... it's not that great. Where are we at? Dear Proto, how do you feel to see Jack Torrance in the mirror every morning? Who's Jack Torrance? You see the red rum scrim down? Oh, that's a reference to... Now I get it. It's a reference to The Shining. I don't know. How is it possible having a normal member of the 13 as a toy? Well, we've had a few. We keep getting an Alpha Trion toy here and there. Technically Optimus is one of the 13 in some continuities. We got a few Fallen toys. I would like more. I would like to have more original 13 toys. I would love it. I would love it. Trust me. Give me a Quintus. Give me a what's some of the others? We recently got McAdams, technically. I'm still missing the head, waiting for the last piece of that Build-A-Figure. Dear Proto, would you enjoy seeing more Toxitron repaints? It's the most underused paint job of the Prime mold, in my opinion. Well, considering how many evil versions we have of Optimus Prime already, between Shattered Glass and a Nemesis repaint or black repaints, for Hasbro to now have a Toxitron too, maybe do it once every 5 years. Do a Toxitron once every 5 years, keep it fresh. Can't do it all the time. Opinions on Ultra Magnus Kingdom. Looks cool, but not too different from the original. So, I think I'll buy him when he's ridiculously cheap. Dear Proto, what is your favorite Shattered Glass Rodimus figure? There's like 2. We have the original. We have the technically the third-party TFCon exclusive. There was going to be one, which was going to be a repaint of the Cloud Rodimus that was going to be done as Shattered Glass in that story. There's the Power of the Primes one, which technically is not Shattered Glass. It's Rodimus Unicronus, but okay. I don't know. I'm going to go with the original because the Henkei mold is awesome. Dear Proto, where are we at? No, I read that one. What is your favorite hot rod toy? I'm going to go with the Henkei one. For now, that could change. I still feel that the perfect hot rod toy is still yet to be made. The Studio Series one is pretty close. Pretty close. Not 100%. And it can be done. It's just the budget isn't there. Those yellow knees, that's part of the budget. The limits of it. Dear Proto, what is your favorite Marvel Megatron moment in the comics? Mine is when he crushed Prowl's head with his bare hands. Let's go with, I don't know. Megatron's not as cool in the Marvel Comics one. That's where Shockwave shines. Let's go with him merged with Ratchet and suffering terribly. What issue was that? 73? No, earlier than that. 53? Thinking of Grimlock on the cover there. Proto, maybe to make Pterosaur different from G1 Starscream personality-wise, give him Armada Starscream's personality with some traits from the former. Yeah, well, that's exactly what I just said, more or less. Make him a redemption character. To everyone, Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael, because the next time we will see each other, it'll be Boxing Day? It'll be the 26th. It'll be after Christmas. And it's funny because we'll have a December 26th stream. On the 27th, we'll have our voting. Again, reminder of the voting. Be sure to vote. Check out the segment before this one. We'll have our voting segment will be uploaded, so people will get to enjoy that. And then we'll have the Earthrise TV series. So we'll be able to watch that together. What exactly is the story of Transformers Cloud stuff? All micro-continuity stories, repainting toys, and making them extremely expensive through the e-hobby selling model. That's it in a nutshell. Extremely expensive repaints. All in micro-continuities that are all not connected, really. Where is it? His battle sled and regenerations. That's true. Yeah, it's true. He put, what's-his-face on his battle sled. Will you have some beers with me if my wife and I ever vacation in Montreal? I'm in once Wisconsin, by the way. Well, when the world is back to normal, I don't mind going out and hanging out. But that's when the world's back to normal. Because I'll tell you this right now, bars aren't open right now. Nothing's open here. Just hiding in my little bunker of robots. But yeah, any guys that come to Montreal, don't worry, I'll give you a good time. Take you to some wrestling matches. We'll go get some good Montreal poutine, smoked meat, a Montreal bagel. You have a good time. Orange julep. Ooh, that's some good stuff. But when the world's back to normal, 8 years from now, I don't know, whenever that is. Dear Proto, would you like to see Beast Wars Megatron original alligator body get some kind of chug love? Of course! I love those two molds. I love those two designs. That original 2-pack, I love it. And after you do that, then you could do the purple and red repaint. The Convoy Bat and G1 purple Megatron gorilla. Gator. The best poutine ever is made in Montreal. Don't let anyone else in the rest of Canada tell you otherwise. It was made in Montreal. Proto, is it disappointing that Marvel Scorponok's arc did not carry over into other incarnations? You know what? There's so many different interpretations of Scorponok, the way he was done in Rebirth, the way he was done in Headmasters, the way he was done in the comics. It would have to have a very human element, and some people don't want to lean on that. Have Zarek. Of all things, bars need to be open. Yeah, well, we'll see. We shall see. Dear Proto Megatrons, okay, I saw that one already. Sorry, Alex. I think you make a really cool Proto Man. Thank you. I think I do too. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're done. We're done. We have 1 minute left, guys. So, once again, guys, thanks everyone for coming to the stream. Again, if you want to support everything that I do here on the podcast, member button is down there, or you could join the Patreon, whichever works for you. I lean more towards the Patreon. Patreon is better for me. They take less from me. But if you don't want to go through Patreon, the member button is cool too to help support the podcast. Let me know that I'm doing a good job. This daily craziness. Okay, I'll get the last question in. Horned Owl, thank you for a super chat. Thank you, Horned Owl. My friend and I were discussing what TFs would make good repaints into mask vehicles, such as Trailbreaker, as Jag. Any other mask repaints? I was talking about that recently. This into the Thunderhawk, but use the head from Hyperdrive. One second, let me grab him. Because I find that you could take the Hyperdrive head and make that the Thunderhawk mask for Spectrum. This could be Matt Tracker easily. I would love that. I've talked about that before. But yeah, thank you, Horned Owl, for the super chat question in the clinch at the end. But yeah, guys, again, if you want to support the podcast, super chat if you can. But, you know, I would prefer Patreon is the best. Helps me out the best. It's easier for me to also have communication with you guys. If you're interested in, like, you know, getting all the cool stuff that Patreon offers and everything, it's easier to track that, I find, with the YouTube member system. If you have to use it, use it, but it's really my plan B in a lot of ways. But yeah, we will see what happens. Again, thanks again, everyone, for coming. It's awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Hopefully we'll have more to discuss next week. After Christmas, we'll see what people get for Christmas. I'm probably getting this because every day is Christmas for me in a lot of ways. That's what happens when you become an adult. Not to mention also just because of the craziness in the world, I'm not really seeing anybody right now to go to do stuff for Christmas. So either way, point being, great having everybody here. It's awesome stuff. And I'll see you all next week after Christmas, but before the Earthrise show. So until then, guys, like I always say, roll out.